just seemed very outspoken. Like, I was like, oh, what do I ask this guy? Is he going to slap me around? Or?
No, I'm very outspoken, yeah, but I tell the truth, you know.
Right.
You're probably afraid of my honesty.
Rock stars are often known for their larger-than-life personas on and off the stage, and sometimes that fiery attitude spills over into interviews. While many musicians engage with the press professionally, others have developed a reputation for being difficult, rude, or even explosive when faced with questions they don't like. Liam Gallagher, Oasis. Liam Gallagher, frontman of the iconic British rock band Oasis, is almost as well known for his explosive temper and confrontational personality as he is for his music. With a reputation for causing chaos, Liam has been in the spotlight for his volatile outbursts both on and off stage. His sharp tongue and lack of patience have led to numerous altercations with the press, and he's never been shy about insulting his rivals or fellow musicians. His rocky relationship with his brother Noel added fuel to the fire as their public spats became legendary in the 90s. In interviews, Liam's temper often flared when he was asked uncomfortable questions, especially about his brother or Oasis's internal struggles. One infamous interview took place in 1995 when Liam was interviewed by MTV. He spent most of the conversation insulting Noel and the rest of the band, cursing liberally and refusing to give serious answers. Another incident occurred during an interview with NME, where Liam angrily lashed out at the journalist, accusing him of asking stupid questions. John Lydon, Sex Pistols.
This is why we are here.
Well, I want you to talk about it, and I've made 5 passes at it, and so far I'm not getting anywhere.
You've studied your history of us. I mean, come on, prompt.
Well,
do your business.
We're
jet lagged. Humour us.
John Lydon, also known as Johnny Rotten of the Sex Pistols, built his entire persona on being anti-establishment and confrontational, and his interviews were no exception. Lydon thrived on provoking reactions, whether from fans, rivals, or journalists. Known for his sharp tongue and disdain for authority, Lydon consistently clashed with the media throughout his career, delivering harsh critiques and rude responses with a gleeful sense of rebellion. His interviews often became battlegrounds where he challenged journalists and ridiculed questions he deemed beneath him or irrelevant. One of the most infamous examples of Lydon losing his cool came during a 1976 interview with the BBC's Bill Grundy. The interview descended into chaos after Grundy provoked Lydon and his fellow band members, leading to a profanity-laden tirade that shocked British audiences. Grundy's goading of the band resulted in Lydon calling him a dirty old man on live television. Lydon's tendency to be unapologetically rude in interviews extended into his later career, where he would often brush off questions with contemptuous responses like, "You're boring me," or "Who cares?" Axl Rose. Axl Rose, the enigmatic and volatile frontman of Guns N' Roses, has long been known for his erratic behavior and short temper, particularly when it comes to the media. While his raw talent and stage presence helped propel Guns N' Roses to rock superstardom, Axl's frequent clashes with the press have earned him a notorious reputation. His unpredictable mood swings and refusal to engage in interviews on terms that didn't suit him have led to many infamous moments. One of the most well-known incidents occurred during an interview with Kurt Loder for MTV in 1990. Axl became visibly agitated when asked about the tensions within the band, eventually walking off the set mid-interview. Another heated moment came in a 2011 interview with VH1 when Axl abruptly ended the conversation after being pressed about the possibility of a Guns N' Roses reunion. Keith Richards, The Rolling Stones. Keith Richards, the legendary guitarist of the Rolling Stones, is famous for his devil-may-care attitude and disdain for anything that feels artificial or pretentious, including interviews. Known for his rock and roll lifestyle, Richards has often displayed a gruff, no-nonsense approach when dealing with the media. He rarely hesitates to make his opinions known, sometimes leading to uncomfortable moments for journalists. Whether he's talking about the music industry, his bandmates, or his infamous past, Richards has a reputation for being blunt, sarcastic, and at times dismissive in interviews. One of his most notorious outbursts came in a 2008 interview with The Guardian when asked about Mick Jagger's solo career. Richards sarcastically quipped, "It's like a fart, it goes away in the wind," a comment that fueled long-standing rumors of tension between the two. Another memorable moment came in 2015 when, during an interview with Esquire, Richards dismissed heavy metal music, calling it a joke, and saying, "Millions are in love with Metallica and Black Sabbath. I just thought they were great jokes." And when it comes to the Beatles, Keith didn't have great things to say either. Quote, "The Beatles sounded great when they were the Beatles," Richards said, "but there's not a lot of roots in that music. I think they got carried away. Why not? If you're the Beatles in the 60s, you just get carried away. You forget what it is you wanted to do. You're starting to do Sgt. Pepper. Some people think it's a genius album, but I think it's a mishmash of rubbish, kind of like Satanic Majesties. Oh, if you can make a load of S, so can we." Courtney Love.
Oh, Drew, you've had it, but I'll be there until...
Courtney Love, the lead singer of Hole and widow of Nirvana's Kurt Cobain, is notorious for her unpredictable and often chaotic behavior on stage and in interviews. With a career marked by controversy, Love has a long history of feuding with the media, especially when questions arise about her personal life or her late husband. She's never been one to shy away from confrontation, frequently lashing out at journalists and interviewers when she feels cornered or judged. Her erratic behavior has sometimes overshadowed her musical contributions, and her volatile nature is well documented in the press. One particularly infamous incident took place in 2004 during a live appearance on David Letterman's show. Courtney, visibly intoxicated, rambled incoherently through objects and at one point jumped on Letterman's desk, leaving the host and audience baffled. Another memorable moment came in 2010 when she walked out of an interview with The Guardian after being questioned about Kurt Cobain's legacy. She declared, quote, "I'm not going to talk about Kurt anymore. I'm my own person." Lou Reed. Lou Reed, the enigmatic and often cantankerous frontman of the Velvet Underground, was as famous for his prickly demeanor in interviews as he was for his groundbreaking music. Reed had little patience for the media and was known to openly mock and antagonize interviewers. His disdain for the press was palpable, and he often made it clear he found interviews to be a waste of time, giving terse, dismissive answers or refusing to engage at all. This abrasive attitude made him a difficult subject for journalists, who were often left with more awkward silence than insightful commentary. One of his most notorious interviews took place in 1974 with Australian journalist Molly Meldrum, where Reed responded to nearly every question with a sarcastic one-word answer. When asked if he was a serious person, Reed dryly replied, "Some people think so." His infamous 1998 interview with the BBC's Jeremy Paxman also showcased his combative nature, where he responded to Paxman's attempts at in-depth questions with curt retorts like, "Next question" or "No comment." Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan, the legendary singer-songwriter, has long been known for his cryptic lyrics and equally enigmatic personality. Throughout his career, he's been notoriously difficult in interviews, often giving vague, dismissive, or sarcastic answers to questions he finds irrelevant or tiresome. His disdain for the media became especially apparent in the 60s when his rising fame led to a wave of press attention, much of which he found intrusive. Dylan's approach to interviews is often one of evasion, leaving journalists frustrated and fans curious about the man behind the music. One of his most famous confrontational interviews occurred during a 1965 press conference in San Francisco.
Do you think of yourself primarily as a singer or as a poet?
No, I think of myself more as a song and dance man, you know.
Another took place in a 1986 interview with CBS News, where Dylan grew visibly irritated when asked about his legacy. Quote, "What do you want me to say?" he replied. Now it's time to hear from you. Which of these artists is your favorite? Let us know in the comments section below.